company called the Stock Swoosh LLC. And if you'd like more information on what I do, my trading room, or any of my classes, you can feel free to email me at melissa@thestockswoosh.com. And definitely go to YouTube and watch some of my videos there. I did a video about the market on Saturday, and boy, didn't know what was going to happen today for sure, but it did. So go and watch that and other videos that I've done trades on. And let's get going. Jay has a quick question. Go ahead, Jay. Can everybody see my chart here? Can you see this pointer? The arrow? Is it there? Can everybody hear me? Or have I been talking to myself for the last I hope I haven't been. The one time I did. All right, actually, you know what? Assistant, did you start taping me? Because I'm sorry, I started talking about the market there. Let me know if you started. I do want this taped, and this is supposed to be taped. Let me know, Stock Swoosh Assistant, if you're ready to go. And this will be on YouTube. I just don't know when. Are you ready? Hold on, let me make sure. Okay. All right. Okay, yes, this will be on YouTube. I just don't know if it'll be tonight or tomorrow morning. So let's get going. And you guys can hear me too. All right, so let's just refresh ourselves now, regroup here. We're going to have a little lecture tonight after we review the market. And we're going to talk about small stops. And I want you to first ask yourself, and it's good to do this every week if you need to, every other day, every time you feel like you need to do it. If you feel for some reason, like you say to yourself, why am I doing this? Ask yourself, fine, do it. Ask the question, why do you trade? What is your goal? Now, you're all going to probably say money, okay, and that's fine. I trade to make money as well. But it's important to ask yourself, what is your goal? Why are you doing this, okay? What is your goal? The money is the reason that is the outcome, okay? That is what you're trading to make the money, to stick it into your account, okay? That is what you're doing. But what really is your goal? Your goal might be something else beyond the money, okay? And this is where I need to kind of get everyone to think about this, because even I had to recently remind myself that too. I had to recently remind myself that too after the month of January. I said, what the heck am I doing this for? What is my goal? Okay, I know the goal is money, and yes, I'm making money, but what is my real goal with this thing in the next, 5 years? Where am I trying to go with this thing? And I got to be honest with you, for me personally, it is beyond the money. It is the freedom, okay? The freedom to have the life that I want, that I would not have with something else. I would not have freedom at a regular job where I have to punch a clock every day and take the subway to work and be there by 8 o'clock in the morning or 9 o'clock in the morning and stay there till 5, 6 o'clock at night and work 12 hours a day and get paid on a salary and have 2 weeks vacation. I would not be able to have the life that trading could bring and the freedom that trading can bring in another job. Okay, so yes, the money is the goal. I have to make the money. But really, it's the freedom for me. Now, it may be for you too, or it could be something else, all right? Maybe you want a vacation. Maybe you want something else. Maybe you want to retire early. I don't know. Whatever it is you want to do, I just want you to ask yourself, what is the goal? I had to recently do this myself because I'm saying, what the heck? Wait a minute. Why am I really doing this thing every day? The goal is freedom. Freedom to get to a point where I could work for an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours a day and have the life that I want, which is I would like a very nice quality life. I have very high expectations of myself, and I want to have that with freedom, and not have to ever go back into the real world of working for someone else again. To be honest with you, I don't ever want to go work for someone else again. In fact, I'm never going to work for anyone else again but myself. And whether that's my own company or trading, it doesn't really matter. You have to get to a point where you remind yourself why you're doing this, okay? Because sometimes what happens is we get so frustrated with something, anything, the market, a month like January, want that trading day, and then we forget. We think it's just the money, that money today and that thing. No, it's not. Look at the bigger picture. Okay, remind yourself what the bigger picture is. Remind yourself really what your dreams are. Because if you don't do that on a continuous basis, you're going to lose sight of it because no one else is going to remind you. I can tell you that. So I have to remind you, and you have to remind you. Do you want this, okay, a little bit, or do you want this, a lot? And this is what you have to remind yourself constantly when you're trading. And here's a great picture. I don't even know where I find these things. Is this you placing your stops trading? You're clinging on for dear life, okay? This guy is hanging on here. Is this what you look like? You put your stop in. Is this what you look like? I mean, seriously, okay? Is this you placing your stops trading? Or is this you placing your stops trading? Happy, smiling, I just took a great position, I have a lot of size, you know, this thing's going to run $1 and I'm going to make XYZ amount of money. Beautiful, happy, love your gap, love your trade, love your size, love your stop. And this can happen, taking small stops, but it can only happen and only work in golden gaps. And if you know how to trade with precision, it is possible to risk a little and make a lot. Precision trading will give you an incredible risk-to-reward ratio. Do you want to make 2 or 3 times the amount of risk, or do you want to make 5 or 10 or 20? It is all about finding a quality gap, or what I call the golden gap. And I just made that name up, but it's really a gap that works strong, hard, good, you know, works really well, just like I was showing you Holex. That is the golden gap. I have no idea what it rates. I didn't rate it yet. I can tell you it's going to rate well just from seeing the chart and knowing what I do and knowing what I teach. So what I teach is this. It's a course. It's a course that looks at 26 points to find the best gap to play each day. And this 2-day seminar also teaches 6 different plays within that system. And all my plays have small stops. I must tell you that. Each play that I teach has a certain stop that is put there for a reason when it sets and triggers with precision. And the play is important because that's how you're going to make money trading. I mean, we've gone over this, but, you know, honestly, that is the way that you're going to make money. Size, precision. Most of the stock moves that provide plays with little risk and a lot of profits happen from stocks to gaps. And there are many stocks to gaps, but only good gaps can be played in this fashion. It is essential to find the best gap to play. It's called the Golden Gap. And the Golden Gap course teaches a 26-point rating system to find the Golden Gap to play each day. If you sign up to take the Golden Gap course, you will learn how to trade with precision. Is this important? Yes. Yes, it is important. Why? Because if you want to be successful, precision counts. If you want to have an edge in your trading, precision counts. If you want to make a lot of money with a little risk, precision counts. And let me tell you, we just talked about the market. Talk about precision. How the heck did I call that market move today without precision? You know why? Because I saw that the market couldn't get over 1 penny over that number when it ran up to that number, 60, 67, 88, 67, 89 on Friday. That's precision. That's precision. That's precision. That's precision. So whether you're trading and taking the entries, or whether you're looking at the gap and you're taking the entries, whatever you're doing, okay, with trading, you really have to trade with precision. You've got to do it. You really, really have to do it. If you cannot trade with precision, you're not going to be successful and not going to have an edge. You're gonna make a little here and there. You're gonna go back and forth. You're gonna go back and forth. I mean, you just will. You will. I know, because I know people that are doing it, and they're frustrated all get out. Okay. Precision counts no matter what you do, and quite frankly, with the reference to the plays, it counts because that's the way you take sides. And here's the definition. What is really the dictionary definition of precision? It's the state or quality of being precise, accuracy, exactness, mechanical or scientific exactness, strictness, mathematics, the degree to which the correctness of quantity is expressed compared to accuracy. Here, it's all mathematics. All the stuff I teach, all my points, all my entries, everything that I teach, everything that I do, it's math. It's math and science. I guess that's why I love trading, because really I'm taking everything I used to do in banking for the last 20 years before I changed careers, which was all about numbers, and now I'm just doing it in a different field, really. I love math, and trading is actually math and science. It's the math and the numbers with the price. And the candlesticks is the scientific part of it. The price patterns really is where the scientific part of it comes into play. And that's why trading is so intense, so exciting, so complicated, so complex, and yet so rewarding, because it does take math and science and puts them together like the pieces of a puzzle. And if you can figure out that puzzle just like Isaac Newton did, you will be at the top of your game, okay? But you got to see things a certain way. You can't see things a normal way, okay? So why is precision important in your trading? How can it make the difference? How big of a difference can it make? Will you do okay without it? Well, you know what? No. Let's go back to this before I go to the next chart. Will you do okay without it? No, you won't, because eventually you'll just end up quitting, because you're not going to make money over the long haul if you don't have precision. You just won't. You'll go as long as you can go until you have to quit and find a regular job and go back to the real world, because you will not do okay without it. You have to have it. And if you're making it now without it, eventually you're going to need it anyways. So you either learn it now or learn it later, because you're going to need it. You can't trade long-term successfully without precision. And people that try run out of money at some point, have to find a regular job or are working other jobs in between anyways, and then they still trade on the side, and I ask them, why are they doing it? What is their goal? Why are they doing this if they're not making money? 5 years into trading and you're not making money, and you have another job on the side that's keeping you going, why are you doing it? Change something that you're doing. Figure it out, okay? It is possible to become successful trading. It is possible to see your goals. It is possible to do this, and it doesn't have to take a million years. It doesn't have to take 4 or 5 years. It's something you can do within a reasonable period of time with reasonable expectations and reasonable goals. However, it does require something extra, especially something. And maybe precision is it. Maybe just changing your strategy is it. I don't know. But I know you won't do okay without it in the long run. You will need to have precision and accuracy to trade. The market is too complex. And today was the perfect example of that. All right? So here was FIO. This was the gap I did, I think it was Thursday. Yeah, it was Thursday. And you know what? This gap traded beautifully in reference to the numbers. The bars were choppy. This was kind of being traded by a computer. We talked about that in the room. But the numbers rang true. Continued then the next day. Didn't watch this on Friday. Continued through. I didn't look at it today, actually. I have to go back and look at it today. But this is a beautiful golden gap. This is a golden gap. I saw it Wednesday night, and I liked it. And I said, this is going to work as a short on Thursday, which it did. Now, how did it set up? This was tricky in here. This was really, really tricky. This thing, the way it acted here the first couple minutes of the day, we talked about it in my trading room. This is basically computer-generated trading. People cannot make a tail like this quick, up or down. So, as far as the numbers went, and the accuracy and precision, it did exactly what I thought. It stayed under 18. I said, this has to stay under 18. Has to stay under 18. As it turns out, this was tough to get in here, but the perfect play was in here. Perfect play was in here if you stuck with it and didn't get tripped up by this kind of activity. And here was the perfect play. 951. I always go back and look at this and say, where did this thing, after it shook everybody out? Shook everybody out here in this topping tail here. The perfect play and entry was 951, right here. Right here. Even though the bar is not red, this was the entry in this, right here, okay? The price was 1752. The stop was over 1768. If you took 2,000 shares of it and risked $320 and got out, I'll show you the drop. You wouldn't have known to get out at the low, which is 1620. I'll show you where the exit was. You could have made 2760, which is 11 and a half times the profit in the amount risked in just one play in less than 20 minutes. These are the types of moves that I like to make. Now, do I get them every day? No. Do I see them? Yes. Do I sometimes hesitate pressing the button? Yes, and that's my own fault. Do some days I grab them and take them and bounce them without no hesitation? Yes. You've got to get to a point within your trading that you first find the gap. Okay? This is what the first step is. Then the second step is being bold enough to take the small stop when you see the entry, and to make sure you have the numbers right in reference to knowing whether or not it's even going to work. okay, knowing whether or not this is even going to work. There really is no entry in here after this kind of tail. You can't get in here. You can't get in here. There's no entry here. There's nothing to do. There's nothing to do. Can't even do it in here. Why? Because of this guy. And because it's flipping up here. And because it didn't break a new low here. How do you know this is going to work? After this guy comes in here and goes right back down, you can take it. And look, it never went over this. It actually never even went over this. Look. So let's just pretend that you were too scared to take this here, and you didn't want to do it. Let's just pretend you said, oh my gosh, I can't do it. You know what? Here you could have taken it then. And if you didn't take it here, you didn't take it here, you could have taken it here. Either way, the stop has to hold onto the space. It can't back up anymore because it just did this. And it just did this. And this is a good gap, so it shouldn't go anymore. Do you see here this first open trading activity, the way that this acted right here, this price movement between here and here, backed up here halfway. If it keeps backing up, it's going to make higher highs and go over the high of the day again. And you can't do that. So that's another reason where you say, okay, now I can take it, I can take it, I can take it. Now, do I get trapped up in these? Sure, all the time. All the time, because trading real time sometimes is tough, all right? But every time I look at something and I like the gap and I go back and say, why didn't I go hog wild in this thing? I go back and I see all these kinds of things like I just been explaining now to you, so that I never miss a good trade again. Because I know that this backed up halfway right here and should have held. Now taking it right in there is aggressive. Here is fine. Here you can take it. Here you can take it. It had 3 different entries. And you know the number that it went up to here was exactly the penny. You could have done this as a retest. So you could have taken it here in the sell setup, or taken it as a retest, or taken it here as a sell setup. Either way, stop has to be over the base. No matter what you do. Not even that guy. After the triggers in here. They can't keep doing tails and tails and tails. So anyways, I had the eggs to put down because there's no way you would have known to get out here. The target actually was $16. But here's what this thing was doing all day. It was going and was doing like these kind of actions like this. Very difficult to play. This is, again, machine trading. But when something does it and starts to back out, I have a rule to get out halfway down. If you're up $1 in something, you'd have to take the profits in this and half as far as 16.30. Once this goes, if you can even get out. If you can't get out, you got to get out when the bar goes green, 1 penny over here. Still had a nice trade if you got it up there. And then it was done. It was actually done for the day. You can see here. Look. That was the only move. Tried to retake it. Didn't work in the afternoon. But then look what it did on the next day on Friday. Again, golden gap. Continue the next day. Never went over 18. This will hold this. At least for some time. So there was one example where you can take something and make over 10 times the amount of the risk, okay? If you are right on it and right on it and right on it. And if I've learned anything from trading specifically during earnings season, because there's so many things to look at, and last week was a good example for me personally, to just stick with one thing. So just stick with one thing. You can't get a perfect entry unless you're looking at too many things, and I'm so good at deciding what I like. I just can't look at anything else in the first 50 minutes of the day if I want the right entry. And if I want to stick with it and grab it, and take it. I know where the stop has to be, but I can't be looking at 10 different things at the same time where I'm going to miss what the stock is trying to tell me, which in this example here, the stock was trying to tell me several things. First, it was trying to tell me we are absolutely not going to go above $18, Melissa, so you had that right. Then the stock was telling me it was crazy weak despite the size of the gap, which as you can see was big, okay? This is a sizable gap down, and I wanted it to prove the immediate weakness, and I got it. So then it was telling me that, okay, fine. Then it was telling me it was popping some people out because it did go over the high of the day, but only by a couple of pennies, fine. And it was proving it could drop, which it did. And then it was telling me again, Melissa, that it was going to hold here half this morning move in the first 15 minutes of the day and was ready to drop. And there you have it. So I have to be on something to watch to get all the clues, again, precision and an edge in what the gap is telling me because I know what I'm looking for, but I don't know if I'm going to get it every day. But I do know what I'm looking for, but I have to be seeing it, watching it in real time, which is why you've got to rate these things. The more you know, I like this and I like this and these are the ones I'm watching. Or just like example for me where I can say, I like this. Like I like Holux tomorrow, boom, that's the only thing I'm watching. Unless I find something better, okay? So, here's the 4 steps. Step 1, you find the golden gap. You read it in the morning as soon as you can, or the night before, like tonight. right before. Step 2, wait for the gap to trigger and set, which is after the stock opens. Step 3, take the play with a small stop with size. Do not hesitate. The hesitation kills. Okay? And step 4, book the money and stop, which again, in this trade here, you had to book it. If you didn't book this money in this dollar move here, if you had the guts to take this trade without any hesitation with size, to risk even $200 or $300, whatever you wanted to risk, you have to do it and you have to book it. Because if you don't book it, you're going to give all this back because the thing retraced. In fact, let's look. Where was this price around here? 1750 closed. Yeah. Ran all the way back up here. Do you believe that? So you have to book the money. That's another thing. I don't want to leave that out because booking the money is just as important as getting in the trade and not hesitating. You can't hesitate on booking it either, especially if you see your P&L running, and you're up $1 or more. And I have a rule: if I'm up $1,000 or more on what I call a comma trade, I can't let that comma trade go against me. Occasionally I do, and I say to myself, I wasn't paying attention, or for some reason just, was doing looking at too many things, and I miss it if it bounces too fast. But I really have a rule to try to not do that. I mean, that is my rule. And if I lose it, okay, it's because the thing has moved so fast sometimes, or I didn't react quick enough. But you've got to pay attention to that. It's important. So why does it really matter? It matters because this will help you become a better trader. It matters because reading the charts in a more accurate way to know where the stop should hold will help you become a more skilled trader. You will make more money as a result, hands down. You will be more consistently profitable, hands down. And you will also kill the trade if it does something it should not do, which you will know because you know where the stop really should be. Again, this is important. Overall, the outcome will benefit you financially, and learning where you should put your stops to maximize your trading so that you trade with the accuracy of a professional is the goal. I mean, that really is the goal, because professionals do trade with size, and they're not doing it willy-nilly either. Now, I mean, their stops are different depending on their risk and how much they're in the position as far as whether it's carrying it overnight as swing trades or core trades. Many professional traders are day traders, plus they're also in these positions like swing and core. So they have some wiggly-jiggly room, okay, which is flat-out day traders we don't have. But they're still trading these with precision and accuracy in reference to the numbers and size. So, do you want to turn a small account into a large account? Yes, of course you do. Anyone would want to. Even people with large accounts would like their accounts to grow larger. Everyone wants to grow their account. How are you going to do it? All right, how are you going to do it? Stop clinging to every penny with worry and stress. Stop clinging to every penny. Stop it. Just stop the insanity, okay? Stop clinging onto every good trade, every penny, every dollar, every target. Like say you're trading and you only have like 2 good trades a week and you're just clinging on to trying to get to the target, and you give back, 20 cents trying to make another 3. Just try to get the move, get out. Get the most of the move, get out. I'm good at getting 80% of the move or more, then get out. Just stop clinging on to every penny. The entry is really where you got to be accurate, okay? If you book money more consistently in good trades with size and momentum, you won't become so clingy. You will let go of the clinginess, and you will trade with ease and grace and no stress or lower stress than you might have right now, and you will be more balanced and happy, okay? You will be happier trading this way. I know it sounds crazy, because you're like, wait a minute, how can I be happier trading with small stops? I have so much anxiety with that taking any size. I can't do it. Learn how, okay? Learn how to do it, I guess is what I'm telling you, because in the end, you will know, okay, let's go back and look. You will know that there is a problem, okay, if this stock keeps rallying over 50% of this drop this late in the day. You will know that maybe the gap then won't work. You'll know. So, again, you decide how much you're going to risk, and you press the button and take the trade, and so be it. And if the trade goes on to work, you make the money. You don't cling to every penny, trying to squeeze it down to the target of $16 and hold it through a bounce all the way back up to your price. You get a great trade, but you have to press the button and not hesitate. And you don't worry about even a tail like this. You know what? This guy does a tail like this, you're like, crap. I just gave back, 35 cents. And pretend you had, 3,000 shares of it. It's almost $1,000, okay? Just don't denial, just take it off, then book it, whatever. You still have money, okay? Just clinging to every penny. I have some people, I talk to them, they insist on target, and then they want to let it rally and lower their stop. What if it never goes back? And you gave back. What if you had done that? What if this is another thing, I could just do a whole thing on pivot. You want to lower your stop. Sometimes I do that if it hasn't had a move yet, but you can't do it after a move like this. Because after a move like this, quite frankly, it might be done. Now, it was done, but you wouldn't have known that. Could it have continued? Yes. Should it have continued? Yes. Will this gap continue on the daily chart? Yes, but you don't know in the day. And this thing rallied back more than half the trade then. More than half the trade of profit you would have given back if you lowered it under this pivot. And then starting not to look that great here again. It started to almost convince me in the 15 and then did a boop and then came back in and said, no, it's off of it. Once it starts to do a scoop. But the point is, stop clinging to every penny with these ones. Okay, get these kinds of things if you can get them. If you can stick with one thing in the morning, which even I have to remind myself to do. And I rarely get the call right on I rarely get the call wrong on my gap pick. But sometimes I like 2 or 3 things. Sometimes I might rate FIO and MRK and something else, and then I can't decide which to watch, and I can't decide which to watch, and I can't decide which to watch, and then I don't get the perfect entry. But I've got the gap call. And even I have to remind myself, stick with what I like in the morning, because I'm so rarely incorrect on my analysis. But if I am not watching it, I won't get the trade, and this is what is important, because this is how you make money. This kind of thing is really how you make money. And I really, really know that the size and the small stop is really how you make money. Some days I don't take trades if I think the stop's too big, and I could make money. And, maybe I have to consider that in the future. But, the fact is that I make a lot when I get the entry and I nail the price and I have to stop. That I pass sometimes if I think the risk to reward is 2-1 or 3-1 or 4-1. And it's still money. I could still take it, but sometimes I pass. That's a personal preference if you see the entry. So the bottom line is, you want to turn a small account into a big account. You want to stop clinging to every penny. You want to be more balanced and happier trading this way, because having some nice big days is really going to help your P&L. I honestly think you got to have big days in your account in a month's time, because every once in a while you might get stopped out. And what's going to cover that? Medium and small days aren't going to cover that, where you're up money then at the end of the month to take out cash. The only way you're going to pay your bills, okay, have freedom, move forward with this, is you got to get some big days in there. You have to get big days in your trading account, because it's got to cover some of the days when you're down. Some of the days when you're down a little bit, some of the days where you get stopped out, some of the days where there's nothing to do. So you have some small days, some medium days, but you have got to have big days. And the only way to do it is with size and small stops. So stop clinging to every penny. You will be happier trading with more precision and taking smaller stops. Because in the end, you will trade with more size and the same risk. I'm not saying risk more money. I'm saying taking the same risk, putting the stop in the right place with more size, all right? And therefore making more money and be more relaxed in your trading. And how can you get to a point where you know how to do this? You must learn how. It's not easy, okay? It's not easy, but you can learn how. And you have to take it to the next level. That is the only way. Sophisticated chart reading and learning how to find and trade gaps, you've got to take it to another level. I'm more convinced than ever that is what is giving me the edge in my trading now. Taking it to another level. Looking at something that I see that looks like what everybody else is seeing and saying, is that right? And then asking myself, you know what I'm saying? So you've got to take it to another level. Don't look at the market and say the market did a daily buy set up on Friday and we are going to go higher because we've been trying to go higher for a while and then we're just getting ready to do it. No, take it to another level. Look at the chart and ask yourself if you're missing something. Am I missing something? Am I not getting something? Is there something here that I'm missing? Ask yourself. Make your mind do the work, okay? Make your mind question it and do the work and really ask yourself. Here's another example. This was a terrific play. This was SANM daily, and actually this triggered, I think, I don't know if it did today or not. I went back and looked at it. The target on this is still $9, $8.90. This thing is still in play. This thing is going to do a daily sell sit up sometime in here. I have to go back and look at it. We can look at it here at the end. This thing has target. This is the target. And it didn't get there the day of the gap. This was a beautiful gap, though. This I did not get in the morning, but I'm going to tell you where the play was, but I did get the second play in it, which I'll go over, which was the ad. The first entry on this is a 1-minute chart, was here, okay? There's no entry here. This looks fantastic. It looks great. It looks like it's going to work. It looks fabulous, but there's no entry here. This is the only first proper entry on this chart, and it happened right at the reversal time. I didn't get this one. I got the second one. I'll go over in a minute, but this is the first one. If you saw it, if you spotted it. And you know what? It had a small stop. The entry time was 9:42. The price was 10:38. The stop was over 10:45. It was 7 cents. On 5,000 shares, if you had it, if you spotted it, if you got it right away, and kept the trade, no ads. There's no ads at all. 0 ads, and you kept it all day. No ads. Just took the first trade in it. Okay? You would have made 17 times the profit in the amount risked in one play. You were up money since the minute you pressed the button. You were never down. It was a great play. You just relaxed and let the trade bleed all day. This is if you got the first entry. We're going to go back. Here. Right here. Here it's triggering right here. This is the trigger bar. This is what I call a step bar. The stop doesn't go over the pivot. The stop goes over the step bar. That's the only way that this works. This should never go back up again. Now, how do I know that? Same way I discussed it on the other one. It's already done a pop. It's already done a pop. It can't do it again or it's not going to work. Okay? It also is a reversal time. Okay? This also opened at an area, let's go back here, look at the daily chart, where this shouldn't back up at all. Because if this thing starts to back up, it's going to flip and not work as a short. Do you see this? This is just getting underway. At this point now, up here, what was the number exactly? 1040. Oh, okay, we're here. Yes, we're right here at this 50. So at this 50 period moving average, we have no other option but to keep dropping if we're going to continue. Otherwise, we might bounce into 50, and we've seen plenty of things do that. I'm always aware of that 50. I always say to myself, gosh, this is a terrible area. But if they go through it and crash through it, which this didn't do yet at that point, but if they do, then they go, which is another reason why I can't keep backing up. So this boom went down, and it can't back up. And if it does, it's not going to work. If it does, it's going to hold, just like this time. But it didn't do it. It didn't do it, and the gap actually rated well. Just didn't get the first play in this, but the stop was right over there. It was a beautiful entry, and if you did nothing but just take this and sat in it until the end of the day here, you would have made $6,000 if you risked $300. Now, in order to do that, you would have had to take 5,000 shares. Now, if you've never pressed the button to take 5,000 shares before in something, now that's a different story. But, 5,000 shares on a $10 stock, a lot of people could have an account that could more than handle this. You only need BP like a little over $50,000. All right? This isn't, not like you need $1 million account to do this. A small account could withstand the buying power for this. Now, I know you're risking $350. All right? So you got to be able to do that. But even if you divided this in half and took 2,500 shares and risked 175, you still would have made $3,000. And if you would have risked 175, and 2,500 shares, you have to be able to take. You have to press the button there. You got to do it. You've got to at some point in your trading career, you're going to have to press the button with 5. You got to get used to it. You got to do it. Your account be able to have to withstand it. You have to understand what the gap is. You have to get the entry point right, but at some point you have to cross that bridge to start trading with 5. Because all you need is 50 cents in 2,500 shares, and you're up over $1,000. Wouldn't you love to trade like that every day? Okay, this is what I'm talking about. And then when it actually works huge in a day, you've got days like this. Okay, you've got days like this, and you're in the trade, and it's just bleeding down. Now here was this is the ad, and this was actually the trade that I took. I didn't get the first one. I got the ad, but then I went back and saw what the first one was. But I did do the play limb 15. So say you're in it. Say you got the first trade. I was doing something else. Now the ad time is 11:15. This is late for me to be in a play, but I grabbed it. I saw it. The ad price was $9.95. The gap was good. This is underway now. We're down. We're under the 50. We're on the move. And the target is $9. Okay, so the target's $1 away. Now, if you're already in the trade and your average price was $10.38, you add here, your average price is going to be $10.16. Now, I know, again, this is a lot to take, but still, you only need to count with 100,000 BP or a little bit more to get something like this. I know 10,000 shares seems like a lot to do. Okay, I know that sounds like a lot to take, and if you can't do it, take less. Okay, but the point is, if you doubled your size in this, you actually would have made $800 no matter what happened if you had your stop, over where it needed to be, which I'll go back and look. Because you wouldn't have lost. Your average price would have been $10.16. Your stop would have been at $10.08. Now, if you take trades like this, you got to make sure the stop is at the right place with 10,000 shares of something. And you're not taking 10,000 shares of something unless it's a great gap and you've got a good position as far as the entry and the price. But the point is, it shouldn't go anywhere over that stop. And even if it blows through the stop, you're going to get out of this okay. You're going to get out of this fine because you're up money in it based on your price. And it shouldn't blow through your stop anyways. It's too early, okay, in the move of this thing nowhere near where it's supposed to go. Here is the entry right here. Stops over this guy. Way back here, if you got the first one, this is a 5-minute, okay? Here's the entry. This is squishing down, this is squishing down. At 990, let's go look at the daily chart. You're all the way down here. Where do you think this is going to go? Do you think there's any chance in the face of the planet this is going anywhere but here? I hope that you know not to, which is how you can take size in the trade, all right? This is going right here. Boom, right there. All right? So here was the entry to add, if you're ready in the morning one, and double your size, and still get out with a profit, no matter what you sized it. Okay, just add the same amount. Say you took 2,000 shares, add 2,000 shares, your average cost is still better than the stop. Okay, that's the point I'm trying to make here. And if you did double the size and you held it all day, you were never down any money at all. And you could have made almost $9 grand. So again, this goes back to the same point where, how do you get to a point where you can start trading like this? You get to a point where you can start trading like this where you can lose money a couple days a month, 2 days a month, 3 days a month, 4 days a month. Not crazy full stop out days where you trade like a maniac. I'm talking about lose 3-4 hours with commissions, 3-4 days a month. You have some big days in there and some medium days and small days. You are profitable as a trader. I mean, that's really what you have to do it. I think a lot of people miss the boat in trading where they think they can make this much money every day. This much money every day. First of all, some days you don't get anything to do. Some days, things aren't going to work right. And some days you're going to get things that are great, and you've got to nail them, okay? You milk them for all their worth. Do the ads, do them with size, play them all day long, take them to target, whatever you want to do when you get these kinds of golden gaps. And during earnings season, we get golden gaps all the time. And some of them provide these kinds of entries, which is where you need to grab them and get them. I really think that it's possible to achieve your trading goals, but you have to be aware of the fact that it is going to have to include some big days. Now, how are you going to do that? You got two choices. You're either going to risk more money to make more, or you're going to start to figure out how to trade with accuracy so you can take size and not risk any more than you're risking now. If you're risking $100 a trade now, and you're not getting moves that pay 17 to 26 times the profit, say, what the heck? I don't want to risk more than $100 in my trade. I want to start having some comma days. What can I do? Well, maybe take my class and learn this thing from me. Number one, how to find the gaps, and number two, how to get these entries, or be in my room for me to call them, when I see them. The thing is that you've got to be able to press the button, though, with the size, and you got to practice doing it. And if you can't take 5,000 shares of something, then start to practice with one. Then start to practice with 1,500. Then start to practice with 2. Practice yourself. All right? So that's how you do it. In summary, you risk $350. This is the very first play. This is the first play with no ad. And at the end of the day, you earn 17 times the amount you initially risked. Earning 17 times the amount of your initial risk is making a lot of money with a small stop. And you were up money from the second you took the entry. 100% conviction in the gap, and where it was hanging on that daily chart like it was going to drop like a rock. There was nothing in sight. 100% conviction. That's what I'm talking about. And this opportunity exists when you know how to find the golden gap and play it with precision. And this is the way to maximize a small account and grow it into a larger account. So you got two choices. You're going to maximize your small account because you do not have the money to put up to get 300, 500,000 in BP. You don't have $1,000 in order risk on the day. You've got to find a way to make money, to cash yourself out every month, to pay bills, whatever you want to do, to maximize that small account to start getting paid. Or you want to just keep the money in there and grow it into a larger account. Whatever your goal is, how are you going to do it? This is how you can do it. But you cannot do it willy-nilly, and you have to do it with precision, and you have to do it with accuracy, and you have to do it with good gaps. You can't just do this on any strategy, all right? You've got to do it on the good ones, only the goodies. And when you know how to find a good pick, there will be opportunity to trade. Good gaps provide you with moves that have great potential for momentum and also multiple plays within the move. They also offer continuation moves sometimes for days. MRK today was a continuation move from Friday. FIO had a continuation move second day. HA had a huge move the first day. SANM had a huge move the first day. LXK had a huge move the first day. IAG had a huge move the first day and continued down for 3 days and still continued down, and it's still continuing down. These golden gaps are good. This is all you need to trade. Keep your losses small when things don't work or if you don't get something right with your entry, and start to learn how to take these entries with size and these good gaps. And number one, find these gaps. I mean, you've got to be able to find these things to trade. I really don't think that there's any other way to day trade, actually. I actually had somebody that owns a brokerage house that knows me, and I haven't talked to him for a while, and called me the other day and said, you know what, I don't think there's any other way to day trade but the way you trade, Melissa. Because he's seen people chop up their accounts in the last month of January who have lost money because it was so hard to trade the market. And he knows that I make money, and he knows the gaps work, and that the way I find these gaps work. And this is why the information that I teach in my gap course is so valuable. This 26-point rating system helps you find the best stock to play each day, regardless of whatever the market is doing. It doesn't matter, okay? So how is it possible? Number one, knowledge from the Golden Gap course. Number two, conviction in yourself and the knowledge I can teach you. And three, clarity, which the Golden Gap course provides when you learn how to read charts with precision and a clear head. And that's the other thing. You gotta keep your head clear. You know, I do a good job of doing that because I got a lot of people telling me stuff constantly. Every once in a blue moon, I'll get tripped up. Somebody will say something, I'll listen to them, but it's so rare. It's like so rare now. And I really am almost ready to just completely, in fact, right now, I'm stamping it out. I'm never going to listen to anyone else again but myself. And if I make a mistake, then so be it. But the fact is, you got to have a clear head. And that clear head is you. You, and you seeing it there, and you reading it and making the decisions. And if you make a mistake, so be it. Learn from it. You've got to have a clear head. Watching the news and seeing all this stuff and watching CNBC and all this stuff that's on TV and then going to every single different trading educational site and reading every single gap analysis and watching everybody's videos, you can have a brain freeze. Okay, your head wants to explode. It's like you're an information overload and everybody says something different. Clear your head. Just look at the chart, okay? Just look at the chart, that's it. You need conviction. There is no such thing as real conviction or fake conviction. There is only one thing, conviction. Total 100% conviction, period. Get clear. Get conviction. How do you do this? You need one strategy. You need one play. You need to start making money. You need to start making money, really. And you need to start having some big days trading. And you need to believe in the person that is teaching you. For example, me. Do you believe the stuff that I say makes any sense at all? And you need to believe in the market, and you need to believe in yourself. You need to believe in yourself over and beyond anything else. You must believe in yourself if you want to be successful trading. If you do, you will find your path. You will find the right way. You will figure it out. You know, you really will. But you must believe in yourself. If you don't, you're going to tend to keep going and eventually give up. And I hate to see people who have the drive, who have the work ethic. A lot of people have the work ethic. And eventually they feel like because they're not making money, they give up. And I want them to make it. Why? Because I know that it's tough. But I just want people to reevaluate sometime sooner rather than later if they're doing something that's not working before they get to a point where they can't keep going because of the money situation. It has to do about being persistent. If you've been putting off learning how to trade or learning how to trade properly, ask yourself why. The best job security security comes from self-knowledge and self-empowerment. Make your own choices for your financial future. Empower yourself to make more money with small stuff. Empower yourself to do it. And say, you know what, I want to have that dream trade where I can take 4,000 shares or 3,000 shares or 5,000 shares of something and get that kind of move. I want to do that. I want to take a trade where I can make enough money in the day that I can take the rest of the month off. That's what you have to say to yourself. Just you've got to get to a point where you have that kind of day. Once you get to the point where we have a day like that, you will cross over a bridge that you will never look back. Okay? I don't remember when that happened to me because I feel like I just was never turning back ever since the day I started. But, you know, when you get to a point where you see that kind of money in your P&L and the day is done and it's booked and it's there and it's yours, you know, there's no turning back. Then you see that the market can pay you. You believe in the market. You believe in the power of the market to pay you. And the market will pay you, but only if you do the right thing. Okay, that's why I teach people to read charts correctly, read the price patterns, don't ignore what's happening. Don't take every buy setup and daily sell setup. It's not enough information. Look at 26 points in the gap when you're rating stock to trade in the morning. There's too many things in the gap. A lot of them are crap. And a lot of strategies don't work consistently either. Okay, quite frankly, they don't. I think gaps work more consistently than any strategy that exists. And I think that the power behind them, to move a dollar, to take adds and reduces, to actually have these types of moves on the day that you could take sides in them and let them bleed until 4 o'clock. All right, those kinds of things where they actually go to the target. That kind of thing happens in gaps, and that's why I love trading gaps. So how will you get to the point where you can empower yourself with knowledge and education that you can learn from someone like me? And again, coming right back around here at the end, why are you trading? What is the goal? I want you to really think about that tonight when you're relaxing, you know, when you're eating dinner or having a beer or a glass of wine and you're just relaxing tonight looking over your trades for the day and say, what is the goal here? Why am I doing this? Am I doing this to pay my bills every month? Am I doing this because I want freedom, that I don't ever want to go work for someone again? Maybe I'll have a job right now and I'm doing this part-time and I want to quit that job in the next year. You know, it's February. Okay, January's over. Beginning of February, you say to yourself, you know what, I'm going to trade part-time until I'm making this much money, and then by next year, I'm going to quit this other job that I'm doing. Whatever it is, get to a point where you say you know what the goal is. And so you set your sights on that goal and figure out how you're going to get there. How are you going to get there? Maybe your account is a certain amount of money. Say, how am I going to get my account to be this amount of money? Well, I can risk double, but that wouldn't be prudent because my account is still this size. No, you're going to do what I'm teaching you now and maybe take better quality trades with more precision to make more and risk the same. Let the trade pay you more without risking the same, or without risking more. Okay? Risk the same and let the trade pay you more. And that's not about clinging to every penny trying to squeeze the target. It's about getting the entry right, the price better, and putting the stop at the right place. So your goal is 100% achievable, whatever it is. Freedom, money, full-time job, retirement, whatever. You just have to have the right education and system. I just want to be aware of that. You know, your goals are achievable. You know, I try to be realistic with people, but I'm not telling people things that are not realistic, which is you're not going to wake up tomorrow morning and make $1 million trading, okay? That's not realistic. But it is realistic if you have the right education and system and trade with precision and learn something accurately and learn to play gaps as a strategy and give yourself time to learn it. And that learning curve is different from everyone, okay, because we all have a different amount of time to devote to this during the day and during the week. And a lot of us have different work ethics too. So it's different for everybody. But you can do it. And it's 100% realistic and achievable that it can happen. And over time, the market can really pay you. You've just got to give it time to do that, okay? And the way to do that really is to stick on something and say, you know what? The size thing, she might have something to this thing. You know, what? How? You know, and talk to me and take my class. I mean, the size thing, I've been saying that for years to my friends. Size with accuracy. Size is the only way to make real money. Size, size, size. Size. And you just can't press the button like that unless you know what the heck you're doing. You just can't. You can't do it unless you know where you're supposed to do it and where the stop's supposed to be. All right? So I teach a class. It's called the Golden Gap, and it's a course, and it's a complete system. It's a system that gives you conviction specifically because it's precise and complete, and I've given you some examples of that tonight. And some of you know how to trade and know this already. And this conviction will help you to take sides in your trades, which will allow you to make more money. I think that's the one thing that taking my class, the second day of the class, where I teach the entries that I take, the plays that I take. I think that really is something that people come back and say, geez, I never would have thought of taking that thing there or whatever. Okay, that's the kind of thing that I think helps give people the conviction to press the button when they see it happen in the patterns over and over and over and over and over again. Even if they don't believe me and they take the class, once they start to see it for themselves in real time, they believe it. The more often you make money on a consistent basis trading, the more confidence you will build in yourself. And the more conviction you will have in your own ability to trade well. And that's important. I mean, that's really important. One of the most valuable things that you learn during the Golden Gap course is to have conviction in the strategy. And that's the gap. And this conviction will help you produce positive results. If you learn how to risk a little and earn a lot, you will create positive results. And what I teach is a complete system to use to trade. It's finding the gap. It's finding the entry. It's putting the stop at the right place. It's taking sides and booking it. It's a complete system to help you make money, whether that money means that you will pay your bills or save for retirement or go on a vacation or quit your day job. Whatever that is you want to do, it doesn't really matter. And the amount shouldn't matter either. Because if you are profitable consistently, you will be able to step it up. You will be able to step it up. Even if you can't even figure out how. I don't know what she's talking about because my account's so small. Even if I start to make money, I'm going to have to pull that money out every month. And I don't know how I'm going to get from here to there. You know what? You start, just start making money consistently. People will give you money to trade. You start making money consistently over a couple of months, and you're taking out what you're making, and that's fine. And you say, how am I going to grow my account if I'm taking it out every month? You know what? Who cares? You start showing you can trade, you'll find people to give you money. You will find people will give you money. There's no shortage of people out there that don't know how to trade and want to make money. Those people that don't know how to trade and have money will give money to people that know how to trade. Okay, they will. So just learn how to do it in whatever size, form, or fashion you can, and then you'll get to a point where you're saying, you know what, I know that I can take it to the next level, and then you'll find someone that will give you the money to trade. And they'll take a percentage of the profit, but it won't matter because they'll have more money than you to give you a bigger account to trade more, and so on and so forth. And it might even just be going somewhere where you get more buying power, with the same amount of money up, that kind of thing. And there again, have to trade with precision, have to trade with accuracy. You got a lot of buying power and a small risk. You better know what you're doing, okay? But it's possible. Leverage is a great thing if you know how to trade. Anyways, the next class I'm doing is this weekend. If anyone's interested, it's the 9th and the 10th. I know some of you have taken my class that are here. You just like to hear me talk, and thank you. And those of you that are new to me or trading or the stock push or gas, feel free to call me or email me at melissa@thestockpush.com for more information about the class this weekend. I hope you had fun, and I hope you learned a lot. Does anyone have any questions about anything I did today? Anything I talked about? Anything at all? You guys are awfully quiet. I hope you're